Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the inaugural Charlotte Bootleggers game. We've got the Charlotte Bootleggers against the Jim Thorpe All-Americans taking the very first face-off. It's going to be Ryan Herman against Riley Johnson. I'm Nick Zeroya. Here with me is Tucker LaBelle. Tucker, welcome.
Nick, happy to be here, man. Excited to be watching a great PBLA game here in the inaugural season between Charlotte and the Jim Thorpe All-Americans. Two awesome teams, one we haven't seen before and one the viewers haven't seen before. Just happy to be here.
Yeah, and this game is going to be broadcast on delay through Lacrosse AllStars YouTube channel. So here we've got Charlotte Bootleggers with the ball early, a little pushing, and he's in the crease right away. And we're going back the other way with it.
A lot of respect coming from the goalie there, not to kneel down on the guy or try to battle out his crease early.
Yeah, we've got a lot of familiar faces here between the two teams. I know you were taking a look at the roster for Charlotte, and we've got quite a few guys that we might recognize from the field game, as there's a long shot out there by number 4, saved by the goalie.
Yeah, Nick, there's a lot of familiar faces in general with this Bootleggers team. From my count, we have 3 guys with PLL experience or ties, 3 players with NLL experience, and 2 with MLL experience on this roster. So, the pro roots run deep with this team. A lot of familiar faces for fans, from Dylan Maltz to the French brothers to Jake Caraway of the Atlas. There's a lot of professional ties to this team, which I think makes the roster that much more interesting and that much more exciting for fans to follow.
Absolutely. And another great save already. So we've already had 3 saves here in the first couple minutes. And we'll see the Jim Thorpe All-Americans slow it down just a little bit. I mean, as we all know, and I guess there must have been, there's a penalty where we're waiting for. That's why they took that outside shot. I was going to say that's not a great take in the moment, but if you have a penalty coming up anyway, it doesn't really matter. So as we know, or if you don't know, the PBLA has switched things up a little bit here with the rules. On a minor penalty, you can elect to take the minor penalty or take a penalty shot, and we'll see what they decide to do here. And pretty clearly, they're just going to take the 2-minute penalty. And so we've got 5v4 action already here early in the first. And so Joe French picks up a 2-minute penalty for slashing early on here. And we'll see, this Jim Thorpe team has already played a game. So obviously, last week they were in the very first ever game over on Lacrosse TV. And we'll see if they've got a little extra chemistry that the Bootleggers don't quite have yet.
Yeah, that's right, Nick. And there's quick thing on the French brothers here after that quick penalty.
Another great save.
Joe French and Ben French, both historically awesome players. Joe French coming out of Virginia, Ben French out of Vermont, both with IBLA history in the semi-pro lacrosse circuit, and then Ben French actually with the Philadelphia Wings at one point as well.
Great insight there, Tucker. We had another penalty here, and so now the Bootleggers are going to go up on the power play. And we'll see what this early season power play looks like and who's out there.
A lot of happy fans at this game today, folks.
Yeah, I mean, you can see a lot on the far side, and I'm told that there's even more fans on the near side. So pretty good turnout here for the inaugural game at Bojangles Coliseum. One of the, I would have to say, not having seen every venue yet, it's got to be one of the top 2 venues in the PBLA.
Yeah, really, really awesome. Home to the Charlotte Checkers hockey team as well. So a good sports history in Bojangles Coliseum.
Yeah, and that's my mistake. It's actually a 4v4 temporarily, as the Jim Thorpe All-Americans they were man up when they took that penalty. A 3-on-2 over here. A nice little high to low shot. Bouncer gets past the goalie, and it's 1-0.
Great finish there.
Yeah, it's now 1-0. Jim Thorpe All-Americans, the goal by number 34, Squire. Great use of transition. 3-on-2, didn't waste any time. Didn't let the goalie get settled. And it's 1-0 early.
Shout out to the cameraman on this one. Awesome camera work to give the viewers a good look at the face-off.
Yep, we've got Herman and Atwood this time. Herman doing well with the clamp early on, but All-Americans able to get the ground ball, or the loose ball, I should say.
Yeah, it's Patrick Timothy coming down there out of Florida, actually.
And a turnover for the All-Americans leads to another transition opportunity for the Bootleggers. Nice shot and an even better save there. And we've got a little seesaw action. Goalie's looking in rare form already for both sides.
Liking the physicality early in this game.
Yeah, and we're seeing, like you had mentioned, that there's a lot of American flair. There's a lot. I mean, that's the whole point of the PBLA, right? Is to have an opportunity for American players mostly to develop and improve their box skills. We are seeing quite a few Americans out there, and we are seeing early in the season here a little bit of unpolished play, the little things, right? The stick skills, the passing, not quite too dialed in all the way, I would say.
Yeah, agreed. I think early season form, we're going to see things like this, and we're going to see a lot of field players transitioning to the box game. Earlier in games, they've alluded to that, but there's transition right now happening for a lot of field players into the box momentum, the rhythm, the physicality, everything.
Yeah, and that one rings off the pipe, and we'll get to reset the shot clock. We've got a few different types of players here. We've got these Americans that have a lot of box experience, but just not at the highest levels, that do play field, or they do play college and then play box in the off season. Then we've got guys that have played high level box all their lives and while playing college. And then we've got a few guys from Ontario that have grown up playing box their whole lives, and maybe it's at the junior A, junior B level and just haven't quite cracked an NLL roster.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Nick. There's a good combination across the board here. There's a healthy amount of former IBLA guys or similar semi-pro leagues across the U.S. So your American guys, most of them are coming in with at least some box experience, which is nice to see. But the difference in box experience from Ontario to the U.S. and the semi-pro circuit is pretty vast in most.
Absolutely. And coming in like a freight train trying to get that shot off on Seneca. But again, another reset of the shot clock. And Seneca's having a great day so far in between the pipes.
Very impressed. Very impressed. Has a great stature as a goalie to kind of get right in between the pipes there. Hugs that pipe well. Just great box form from a goalie, making sure nothing between the two legs.
Yeah, and that was a great look, and just nearly missed on the outside of the cage there. Could have been a nice little touch pass, but again, couldn't quite finish it. And we have another turnover in transition. So this has been plaguing the All-Americans early on here, giving the Bootleggers a lot of extra opportunities on offense.
Yeah, and I think this was something that affected their last game, their opening game of the PBLA as well, is that the transition game and the turnovers kind of affected them in a negative way. It's something that I'd like to see them maybe work on a little bit more, get a little bit more under control as the season goes on.
Yeah, and something we see now 3 or 4 times already with the Bootleggers, just sending shots from the outside, not really working their offense, partially due to the shot clock. The moment it gets past that 10-second mark, people start to get nervous and excited and feel like they have to get that shot off immediately. But that is definitely a field, as we have a nice drive there by Timothy going airborne trying to get it, but doesn't quite finish. But that is a tendency of field players to take these outside shots in the box game. And so we definitely need to see a little bit more structured offense on the Bootlegger side. We haven't really seen the offense from the All-American side yet.
Yeah, very
nice
true.
Little two-man game there. Beautiful two-man game. And we've got another goal this time, number 57. We'll get you a name as soon as we can.
Yeah, that's kind of the box. That's the box work that the fans want to see right there. It's exciting and quick and physical.
Oh, nice little easy little pick and slip there by 57. That's Pratt. And that brings us to 1-1 even score here early on in the first. But that's exactly what we're talking about. Less outside shooting, work the offense a little bit, move some bodies. And that would be a prototypical box goal.
Absolutely. Good work early on from both of these goalies. Brad Conlin of the Bootleggers has been around for a little bit. 2008 RIT grad and an Ontario native. So you have to assume he's been in the cage in the box quite a bit.
Yeah, and as an RIT grad, somewhere in the world, Ryan Conwell's ears just perked up knowing that there's an RIT player on the floor. French with the ball now, moving it around. You see the Bootleggers getting more comfortable. Little toe drag. Nice save again by Seneca. He's just stands real tall. Those smaller pads that we've talked about with the PBLA, they're not making any difference there for Seneca. He's just a big body, and he knows how to position himself quite well.
Yeah, and for all those young goalies out there, I can appreciate Seneca coming out a little bit and being dominant of his crease. That's something that when you know your area, you can play out a little bit more and really start to feel your game.
Great one-man effort there by Zavitz. Gets it over to number 11, and we have a nice backside goal. We don't have a number there. He's got the jersey taped off, I think. Oh, no, it doesn't. It is Abrams. Great presence on the backside, crashing that backside pipe. And we have it 2-1 now.
Jim Thorpe All-Americans goal scored by number 11, Con General.
And I know now why. So we were getting word that he had tape on his jersey earlier. Must be a blood jersey or something, because it's actually scored by Con General, not Abrams, which is the name on the back of the jersey.
Just want to point out that that's a great name, Con General. Oh, what a name.
Intimidating. Nice little behind the back flip. And another great goal there by the All-Americans. This time it's Jimerson. And another one. See, this is where the All-Americans are showing a bit more box flair. Beautiful cut with the behind the back pass there.
I think this is something, Nick, that we kind of expected coming in, that one team was a little bit more experienced on the box side, already has a game under their belt, already has some chemistry going. We're seeing that early with that 3-1 lead from the All-Americans.
Absolutely. We'll see if, and the thing about
Jim Thorpe All-Americans goal scored by number 27, Jonathan Jimerson, given assist to number 22, Cameron Seneca.
They definitely have more experience on the box side.
It's a little quiet in here, Bootlegger fans. Let's make some noise.
And we'll see how the Bootleggers kind of adjust to that. Wow, that's an outside bomb there. Beautiful far side bounce shot by Hill. I mean, you're not super surprised. He's got some box experience for sure.
This is a 4-1 lead early.
Beautiful rollback. And just as I was finishing my statement about how the All-Americans score so quickly, they've scored 3 goals in a matter of, what, 2 minutes?
That's right. Real quick, true box work.
So even though the Bootleggers are about even on opportunities,
All-Americans goal scored by number 14, Dalen Hill.
All-Americans are. And again, settling for the outside shot, really in the block by Fred. And Seneca, again, standing tall in the cage. Nothing easy there for the Bootleggers.
And, one thing to take in mind here about the All-Americans, coached by Randy Chrysler, he's got, box experience from the IBLA, from the Buffalo Bandits, from the Six Nations Arrows. This guy knows the box game in and out, and you can tell with his team early, he's teaching them how to work as a box unit.
Absolutely. And we have to say, with the way that these teams are made up, right? We've got the draft picks, and then most of the rest of the team, I would say about half the team is somewhat local to whatever team they're playing. And you have to think that that's a competitive advantage for the All-Americans, given
absolutely
their
Hey fans, be sure to stop by the Bootleggers merchandise stand in the main lobby to get all your Charlotte Bootleggers gear.
But in terms of box lacrosse, you have to give the edge to Jim Thorpe. Now, that is a tremendous one-man effort there by Caraway. Something we've seen all of our, adult lives as long as he's been playing. Just taking it all by himself and laying out in front of the cage. And he seems to have some fans in the stands in particular. So
absolutely.
Herman and Johnson going at it again.
Bootleggers goal scored by number 19, Jake Caraway.
so much more off. You know, what I'm seeing very early on here is just a lot more off-ball movement by these All-Americans. And Smith is there to clean up the trash, dives across the goal. We'll see if they give it to him. I thought it was good, and it is. It is good. And I believe that brings us 5-2 All-Americans here in the first. We just have a scoring frenzy.
Yeah, that's correct, Nick. Interesting again from the goalies and the physicality here. You know, in most box league, if you're an offensive player that ends up in the crease, you're gonna cause a scuffle. But right now, it's looking pretty tame and maintained.
Yeah, definitely a bit cordial for now, but too many hits like that or too many entries into the crease, I think that'll change over time.
Bootleggers goals, All-Americans goal scored by number 17, Lane Smith.
Great defensive effort there to pick off that pass. Sticks up in the lane. I will say the Bootleggers, though, they are getting back early in transition. You know, there's not.
All right, fans, they can hear you on the field. Get loud. Here come the Bootleggers.
But the All-Americans just seem so comfortable in their settled offense. It's almost like they prefer to be settled.
Yeah, I feel like coming off of a big game in the opening weekend of the PBLA, the All-Americans are feeling a little more comfortable overall, I think, as a unit from what I saw before.
Yeah, and Seneca, for the All-Americans, is just making sure that nothing easy is happening. I mean, even if they do get beat, these outside shots, they're just no match for them.
I like that look. I like that last look with that pass across. We just got to be a little bit more conscious, I think, of where the shot's coming from. Getting a little physical here. I like to see that.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of, those low, soft cross checks to the kidneys happening off ball, just letting people know you're there after the play.
It's good, good old hello check.
Yep. Something he'll definitely feel Sunday morning.
That's right. Right back to the job.
And here we have another turnover by the All-Americans, but not Bootleggers content to just slow things down. Get their subs. They really do need to settle, and I believe right now they've got. There's a penalty. We're waiting for the penalty called. Goalie's out. 6-on-5 here. And they settle for another outside shot. And you just have to wonder, 6-on-5, you can work it a little bit more than that, right?
Yeah, I would have liked to see the two guys that went to the middle to cause some chaos. If they can set some picks and slip back out, you're going to have a higher opportunity than just shooting through those players.
Exactly. We need some ball movement. We need some player movement. We need some people on the backside ready to. That skip pass is almost always going to be available. Now, whether or not you can make it happen, that's the question.
Love seeing this crowd, some young players getting involved here, parents, family, lacrosse fans in general are excited for lacrosse to be back in Charlotte after the Hounds of the MLL left in 2018 after ceasing operations. Charlotte lacrosse fans are ready to have a team back.
Yeah, plenty of lacrosse in the Charlotte area, and they've elected not to take the penalty and take the penalty shot and unable to capitalize.
I believe that's Joe French.
That was Joe French for your Bootleggers taking the penalty shot. The penalty was a roughing penalty on number 11 Con General of the All-Americans.
Clear example of one team dominating the plan, but not able to capitalize on offense.
That's exactly right.
And this is a situation where I'd be screaming to my players, bail. Once you run into three guys, it might be time to turn around. Move that ball. As the Bootleggers turn it over on offense yet again. We've just seen too many times where the Bootleggers attempt to take outside shots, or before they even get an outside shot, they just turn it over. And that's a tough hit there from behind, a little bit high. And we'll see what coach decides here. He wants the penalty or the penalty shot. We'll also see if that might be possibly a major.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Nick. Coaching, I would take the penalty shot 9 times out of 10, depending on your matchup and your goalie. Obviously, both of these goalies being pretty strong early. I think it's a toss-up. Which one you want to take?
Yeah, and if it is a major, the benefit there is you can still take the penalty shot and get 2 minutes after the fact. So
that's what they call a 2-for-1.
Yep. So after the failed penalty shot last time, I think we're going to see a traditional power play here.
The Bootleggers are on the power play.
Out there. Mark Cockerton, number 41 on the man up. Or on the power play, I should say. Sorry. He's running that left side over there. And
All-American's penalty was a 2-minute minor for boarding.
And Cockerton shows what he can do, high to low, making it 5-3. Bootleggers still trailing here as we're about to finish the first.
That's phenomenal ball work right there to go inside out, have Caraway pop back up for that extra feed. That's just all around great ball work from some guys with some great experience both in the field and box game there.
Yeah, it's not overly complicated, right? If you've got 2 men down low, they take up the attention of the 2 low guys on defense, and you've got 3-on-2 up top. You just need to beat it with ball movement and quick pass.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Nick.
So 5-3 All-Americans lead.
Bootleggers power play goal scored by number 41, Mark Cockerton.
Great loose ball there by number 19. On the box side now, he's definitely becoming more of a defender.
And when you move your body, you move it nice and sweet and sexy. All right?
Okay, so we don't know the exact charges, but we do know we're 4-on-3 for a while here. And given the All-Americans, chemistry and box skill, yep, I'm not surprised we already have the goal. It's a great low feed, 23 Zavitz able to, kind of dive, jump, lean, however you want to call it, across the crease there and stick it to the top right corner.
I think we're finding early that you don't want to give the All-Americans a player advantage like that. They're too crafty. They know what they're doing to make it work, and it doesn't take them much time to do damage.
Yeah, I mean, given their proficiency, even when they're subtle, full strength, you definitely don't want to give them any extra advantage. Let's see if Herman can come up with another face-off win here. Another draw control. (6-3) now. All-Americans lead. Just about done here in the first, but there's
All-Americans goal scored by number 33, Kent Baker Printa. 1 minute remaining in the first quarter.
The other thing I'll say about the Jim Thorpe team is every single chance they get.
All right, fans, let's see how loud we can make this house in the last minute of the first quarter. Let's go!
Showing their veteran presence, if you will.
Agreed.
Shot clock violation on the Bootleggers.
And we're going to get another guy in the box. This time for the All-American. I got to say early on here, though, if you're the All-Americans, your whole point is to set the tone and play physical. You know, the Bootleggers, with the exception of that Cockerton goal, haven't really made you worry about taking a penalty.
Yeah, I agree. That guy's excited to be there.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know who's the captain for this team, for this Bootleggers team, but I'm seeing a lot of early leadership, it looks like, from Joe French, wondering if maybe he could be one of the captains.
Yeah, well, and that's both French players, even if they're not captains, they're gonna carry themselves as leaders. So
that's right.
Whether they have the C or not is somewhat irrelevant.
All-Americans penalty to number 17, Lane Smith. Even strength the rest of the way in this first quarter.
So that penalty's on Lane Smith. And Cockerton again with it. Loves that high to mid release. Very deceptive with it.
Yeah, he's almost putting a bit of a twist on it, like a typical twist box
Into the
shot.
first quarter, your score.
He basically
The Charlotte Bootleggers 3, Jim Thorpe All-Americans.
That's the end of the
6.
first quarter. 6-3 here. All-Americans lead the Bootleggers in what is
Bootleggers!
the initial game for the Bootleggers. Game 2 here for the All-Americans.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing already from both these organizations, and the Bootleggers as an overall experience looks to be incredible.
Yeah, definitely seems like a fun way to spend the weekend night. And another save there if you can find it. Love that. Those pads are, they're smaller than traditional box pads. They're still so large that you can't find the ball immediately after making the save. I love that.
Quick note in that last shot there, that low angle shot, those goalies in box love that because they can cut off the entirety of that goal with their stature.
Nice little cut. Fee was just a little bit too high there. And we're seeing a tendency of players to, when offense isn't working right away, just throwing anything and everything at the cage from outside.
Agreed.
Hey fans, the Bootleggers are in the offensive zone. Get loud, let's get a goal.
And Caraway steps down, puts it low on the far side.
Oh, there's that celebration, putting the sword away.
Well, listen, I mean, we've seen that a number of times over the past couple of years. And here he is bringing it out to the PBLA. A great, what feels like, and I'm not 100% positive on it, it felt like a late addition to the Bootleggers squad.
Yeah, I saw Caraway was up there posting on his Instagram pregame about how his excitement was for this. So cool for Caraway to get this moment, and he looks very comfortable in the box game early.
Yeah, we hadn't seen him on the initial
Bootleggers goal. His second of the night, scored by number 19, Jake Caraway.
We'll try to do some digging into that, but awesome to have him as part of the PBLA. He looks like he's having a good time.
Absolutely.
And what we do know of Jake is that he does like to have a good time. He's just a fun personality. So I'm sure the team doesn't mind having him around either. In addition to the skill, locker room guy. Good defensive stand there by the Bootleggers. Driving straight to the net and paying the price. Another save there by Seneca. And it looks like he may have been in the crease. And I'll just have to say it. I mean, offensively, Bootleggers just need to find a little bit more of a rhythm. It seems like when they play too fast, the skill might not all be there. And when they play slow, tactically, they're just not all on the same page yet.
Yeah, agreed. A lot of the goals coming on the man-up opportunities right
Here
now. So far,
come the Bootleggers.
Too solid at the moment.
Bootleggers looking to slow it down as much as they can. Obviously, shot clock, there's limits to that, but getting everybody on, getting a little bit settled. Great look cross.
Good pick and roll around here, pick and drop and pass down, pick down. I'm seeing a lot of really good things now from that offense.
And a big hit there.
Great
the open
hit.
Field by French. Not afraid to mix it up. And we're going to get a call going the Bootleggers' way. And we've just got seesaw action right now, don't we? Ball's going back and forth. We got a 3-on-none. And again, Bootleggers just don't look comfortable on the fast breaks. Just little, those transition guys maybe not comfortable, or, I don't want to say don't have this skill, but just not comfortable yet to be able to make, to finish these plays off. And another prayer at the end of the shot clock. So not an offensive strategy that Charlotte can rely on here. All-Americans feel a lot more comfortable in transition. And get that late trailer. Beautiful take, beautiful fake, and a finish. That's an amazing goal there by Abrams.
Yeah, that's a true box goal any way you look at it. Nothing outside. That was a perfect inside look to an inside finish. Way to draw his two defenders out to the side and be able to finish around the goalie. I think Conlon really wants that one back, but, great finish there.
Yeah. And that's 7-3 now. All-Americans with the lead.
A lot of Bootleggers merch out there in the stands. I think that the merch stand's been getting hit up prior to this game.
Hey, you can't complain. T-shirts, $15 to $20. That's a good deal every day of the week. And we've talked about this before. That Bootleggers logo is probably one of the best in the league. And the overall kit, I love the color scheme and the jerseys. Not bad at all. Timothy
That's
with
right.
the take on Caraway. Two guys known more for their outdoor skills, but Timothy not quite able to finish. But it looks like, yep, we do have a push.
That's one strategy I saw kind of in the last game there. I think Timothy is still trying to figure out the box game right now. His speed and his agility and his athleticism really shine, and I think will continue to shine. But one thing he's been doing well is drawing those push penalties on the crease there. I think he got one or two in the previous game as well, taking that kind of low angle there to draw the penalty from the player. But you like to see that kind of smart play if that's what he's intending to do.
Yeah, and he's got, he's quicker than pretty much everybody out there in the first couple of steps. So he's able to beat his man in a very small space, but then, it's just all about finishing right now for him. But he's getting a lot of opportunities, creating a lot of offense. And here it is. He gets himself, gets his team a penalty, and they go ahead and cash that in on the penalty shot. That's Woodland, or Woodlawn, I should say. Either way, Twitter will tell me that I got it wrong or right.
That's exactly right, Nick. Yeah, kind of back to your comment on the overall uniform scheme from the Bootleggers. I appreciate them trying to match as close as possible to the Charlotte Checkers hockey team. Keeps the arena in the same colorway, keeps the fans in the same colorway, ties the two organizations together well.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't even know about the Checkers, so that's a great point. When you're talking about a branding perspective, you're sharing a home, like you said, all of the seats are a certain color. Everything's already kind of set up for this color scheme. Why not take advantage of that?
Absolutely.
So here early in the second, the score is 8-3 in favor of the All-Americans. Again, Bootleggers struggling offensively to find their rhythm. All-Americans looking a little bit more like a fine-tuned machine. But I would say that what the Bootleggers lack in offensive finishing, they're creating opportunities. Just too many shots exactly like that, where they're just bailing out Seneca, who's an incredible goalie so far here early on.
I'll tell you what, Nick, one thing I'd like to see before we address this penalty is that outside shot we just saw there, the player that was low pipe, that's an easy feed across to him, faking that shot, letting him dump outside that goalie's vision.
Yeah, the old shot pass cross crease is a popular strategy in the box game, and one that the All-Americans or the Bootleggers just need to to work on a little bit more. But what I was going to say is the athleticism seems to favor the Bootleggers, while the skill might favor the All-Americans. So it's an interesting dynamic here. And the Bootleggers will take the penalty shot instead of the penalty here.
Yeah, I believe this is going to be Ben French stepping out here. The Vermont and Tampa alum is really putting together already an awesome game and has some awesome box experience previously with the Philly Wings and the Tampa Twisters.
So definitely one of the guys that the Bootleggers want to send out there as often as possible. And he's able to just a simple high-low, fake high, go low with it. Nothing complicated about that. Just sold it really well. And he
I love to see him
8-4. All-American still with the league.
He really forced the goalie there to stretch that far leg, leaving that 5-hole kind of open. Not as big of a goalie stick there, smaller pads. You're going to see more of a 5-hole look when you can stretch the goalie out a little bit.
Yeah, when you throw that fake and you see that foot lift up off the ground, even an inch, there's no other direction the goalie can go. And really did a great job there. Much needed goal for the Bootleggers, but relying half their goals now are on penalties or penalty shots. So really need to find some offense in the even settled play. Meanwhile, huge hit out in the middle of the field. Got to keep your head up. And the All-Americans, again, just very smart in terms of pulling that ball out, waiting for some trailers, hitting the shot clock reset. And Bootleggers take over at midfield. All right, so Bootleggers again with an opportunity settled here to show some offense.
Yeah, I like how the All-Americans are pressing out on them early. They kind of know what to look for, but it looks like the inside movement from the Bootleggers is starting to pay off as the game goes on.
And a big one-handed shot by French. Didn't quite get to the, got to the cage, didn't quite get past the goalie. Great outlet passes here from the All-Americans, just a little bit off. Could have been a great opportunity. And, I don't think sloppy's the right word, but a little bit of unrefined play, if I'm going to sugarcoat it. A lot of these passes just aren't, thrown with any kind of purpose.
Yeah, I agree. I'm curious to see or know how many times this team has practiced together, how much chemistry is being built kind of off the field.
And a huge deep pass there. Back in the day, that might be a 2-line or a 3-line pass in hockey, but a huge deep pass there gives the lead to the All-Americans 9-4 now. That was Jonathan Jimerson with a huge outlet pass. Great heads-up play, really being aware. And again, here you just see All-Americans just being so much more physical than the Bootleggers.
Come on, fans,
It's almost like the Bootleggers are relying on a couple of guys to be the enforcers. Decent outside shot by Caraway, but guess who's inside ready to finish it? On the rebound, number 11. And that's one of your favorites.
That's right. Ben French in there cleaning up very well. Anytime you get an opportunity for a cleanup shot in the crease there, it's a great one, and kind of sink it over the goalie there is an awesome look as well. So I always tell younger players, if you have the cleanup shot, take it while you can.
Yeah, and just to finish my point real quick, Bootleggers pretty much relying on the French brothers to be both their scorers and enforcers at the same time. Meanwhile, every All-American out there getting physical, looking to drop a body. So Caraway starts off with it.
Bootleggers penalty.
And actually, since they're incidental,
57, Matt Pratt.
stays 5-on-5 here. Even
All-American
strength.
penalty
Another
given
outside
to
shot. Lost it there
number
with the
11,
camera angle.
Con General, both 2-minute minors for roughing.
Caraway thought about committing to that dive across crease. Thought better of it at the last second. That was going to be a high risk play for sure in terms of personal health. But again, more turnovers in transition in the middle of the field. Just from both sides, we're seeing a lot of turnovers in transition. It is early season, so to be expected. Can't wait to see the product in a couple weeks. And what a heck of a goal there. Picks it up off the crease, goes behind the back with it. Maybe around the world. We'll wait for see if we can get a replay.
Yeah, I think once the offensive unit of the Bootleggers really starts to find their rhythm, this is going to be a really strong offensive team with a lot of American flair to it. An exciting product that could be on the field here very soon with the Bootleggers.
Looks like 21 Schultz with the goal. Again, couldn't quite see everything. There's a lot of traffic there, but definitely picked it up left-handed, possibly around the world there.
Yeah, that was an awesome goal from the Warners New York native and the Richmond alum. Really doing a great job on the Bootleggers side there.
And there we go. Number 99 for the Bootleggers, Zankin, starting to lay the body out there a little bit more. Protect the goalie. Let his presence be known.
Yeah, Zankin there actually was drafted by the Lizards in 2017 and attended Duke, but the New York native definitely has some box background and physicality to show.
There you go. French has a lane, keeps it just long enough, gets the advantage. Malt's not able to bury it, but a great look. And we're starting to see a lot more movement, a lot more physicality coming through. And there's French again, bullying Timothy at this point. Oh, and we do see the captaincy there for French, so you do see it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the celebration response there from Timothy after getting laid out by French, but that's one thing that's going to come with the box game overall is just the physicality adjustment.
Absolutely. Big hand to our camera crew today. I mean, we've got 4 different cameras going. We've got the eagle eye camera on the face-offs. I mean, just absolutely great production value here at Bojangles Coliseum. So much appreciated to the camera crew.
Yeah, an exciting way to watch lacrosse and to view lacrosse is when you have a camera team and a media team this strong. It allows the viewers to really embrace the game that much more who can't be in attendance.
Yeah, and I will say, barely indistinguishable, this feed to possibly, the other league over there.
Yeah, I would agree. The production is very, very similar from what we've seen in this game.
Riley Johnson.
But like we said, French brothers basically single-handedly having to be enforcer, scorers, do-it-all players. So great pickups by Coach Lancey here in the draft. He knew exactly what he was getting out of those two.
Yeah, Lancey is no stranger to the lacrosse world. Spent some time coaching at St. Andrews and Canisius before moving over to Duke, and now at the Durham Academy. He's the athletic director. He is a teacher, and he is the head lacrosse coach. The Ohio U and Michigan State alum, really knows what he's doing coaching a lacrosse team.
Yeah, big old Michigan State alum on the now defunct D1 program, but was part of some good teams there that even made an NCAA tournament, I believe. And happy to say that we're both Michigan State alum, even though Lancey and I have had talks about that. I'm still a Go Blue guy all the way for undergrad. No one roots for their master's program. So I believe it's 9-4 now here, still in the second. Getting quite physical. Penalties are starting to add up a bit. And we've seen one penalty shot for each team?
Yeah, I think we're only at one apiece right now, but you're exactly right, Nick. The physicality in this game is picking up drastically. You're starting to see players, especially laying more cross checks from what I'm seeing right now on the field.
Yeah, a lot of work being done off ball. So, and a great save there. We'll see what the ref has to say about all this. All good, all clean. Good save there by Conlon, and we're back in action. Bootleggers ball. Pratt taking a nice drive to the cage, but not quite balanced enough to get the job done. Cockerton getting mauled over in the corner, and we've got another call.
Yeah, anytime you got 2 against 1 in the boards, you're probably going to draw a call there, which I think was what kind of Cockerton's overall intention was, to get 2 players on him there and take that.
Yeah, not quite a soccer dive by any means, but definitely, feel a little pressure on that lower back. Let gravity do the rest.
Yeah, smart lacrosse is smart lacrosse, Nick. No matter what you're doing, if you're against the boards, you might as well play it to your advantage.
Especially down 5. Put your pride away.
2-minute minor for holding.
And it's actually a 2-minute minor for holding of all things. So
with that, your bootleggers are on.
Say what you will about that penalty. Didn't think it was a holding by any means, but here we go. 9-4. Bootleggers are trailing. They have the ball now. Another power play. French, Maltz, Cockerton. Got to assume Caraway's out there somewhere.
Yeah, again, this is a great man-up unit in my mind here. There's quite a bit of box experience across the board. The French brothers being out of Canada, they obviously have a little bit more than probably most of the guys out there. But, Maltz has his box experience. Caraway's getting some right now. But more than anything, just offensive weapons as players.
I was going to say, regardless of the box experience, these are, this group of 5 is just lacrosse players. They have skills. They are scorers for sure. We're seeing some in and out action on the backside here. Some rotation, good skip pass. Risky skip pass there to Maltz.
Looks like a recovery there.
Yeah, and he'll learn quickly that that's just not going to work too often here in the box game. Not with goalies like this. It's just not going to happen. That dunk from behind is a very high-risk play on a power play especially. All-Americans settle in here, now settled. Waiting for that penalty to release. And the thing here is, the other difference I'm seeing here is that these All-Americans, they're all keeping their heads up because they are having a lot of crease cuts off ball, and they are getting it in there. They're just not always finishing on these cuts.
Agreed.
Maltz has the skip open. Rings off the bar. So we do have a reset of the shot clock. French picks it up. Gives it back to French. Over to Caraway. Caraway slings it, and the goalie's all over that. He saw that coming from a mile away. Almost baited him 5-hole.
For any new viewers to the box game on here, if a shot is rung off of the pipe or the goalie and it goes out of bounds, i.e. over the boards, in this case, that is a possession shot retained for the offense. So they get that right back.
Great insight there, Tucker. Tucker, our resident box lacrosse player. Future PBLA player.
We can hold hope on that one. This is fun to watch. Those several guys I've matched up against myself, especially at the most recent IBLA Nationals, saw the French brothers and saw Maltz there, matched up against them with their respective teams. So cool to see them out here in the first PBLA game for Charlotte.
Nice little inside take there, I think, by Dickinson. Didn't quite work out for him, but Bootleggers retained the ball. Good defensive play, absorbs the cross check to the head there.
Remaining in the second quarter.
And we're under a minute here to go in the second. Great little Canadian left there out of 15. That's Martin.
That's a real heads up play right there and a real strong effort coming downfield to the goalie.
Yeah, he knew the clock was low. I mean, under a minute, you can still get a settle possession, but he saw an opportunity. He took it, called his own number, and it's now 10-4. All-Americans lead the Bootleggers with under a minute to go here in the second quarter. Atwood and Herman on the face-off. And no matter what, Herman seems to be winning close to every clamp, but not nearly enough ground ball or loose balls for the Bootleggers to take advantage. All right, here, 40 seconds to go. I apologize, but it's 10-7. I don't know where I got 4 from. 10-7, All-Americans lead. Bootleggers pick up the ground ball, loose ball. Turn it over immediately. And All-Americans have it again here with an opportunity to score to end the first half.
Yeah, you really are seeing more of an effort come back from the Bootleggers here to kind of catch back up. And there's a fun environment to watch when you're seeing this team really putting that much effort. But when it comes down to it, yeah, All-Americans are they're playing their game. They're being crafty. They're not speeding themselves up too much.
Yeah, and they're always looking for, there's a delayed penalty, or they pulled the goalie here for the extra attacker. Bootleggers are down 10-7, but a strong finish there. That second quarter, they're definitely bringing it all together.
Each day, millions of athletes compete in their sport. However, most of their greatest achievements, their highlights, go unnoticed and unacknowledged. The 5-Star app exists to give those athletes an opportunity to be seen and celebrated by their peers, competitors, and fans in a safe social environment. Download the app. Follow the best up-and-coming athletes in the world. Whether you're an athlete or a fan, this app is for you. You can find us in Apple's app and Google's Play stores.
All right, welcome back here. Second half action between the Bootleggers and the All-Americans. Great halftime experience for everybody involved. It is 10-7. Bootleggers are on the short side of this one so far, but we'll see if we can't get some offensive firepower going here in the second half. Tucker, what'd you notice in the first half so far?
Yeah, first half so far, Nick, I'm seeing that Bootleggers were a little bit slow to start out. Very offensively centered team with a lot of firepower, starting to catch rhythm kind of more into the second half, or the second half of that half, I should say. Whereas the All-Americans have been kind of more dominant, a lot more chemistry going on, coming off of a game already. You can tell that this team has played together a little bit more than the Bootleggers, but really great action so far. A lot of physicality. We even saw a fight. We can't argue with that, Nick.
Nope. Action packed from start to finish. And we'll see, like I said, we'll see if the Bootleggers can get a little bit more offensive minded here in the second half, clean things up a lot, settled for a lot of outside shots early. Here we already see them, working the inside a little bit. Moving some players around. And I'm sure Coach Lancey said, fellas, we got to work the system a little bit more. We're doing too much one-on-one stuff, too many turnovers, selling for too many shots. And we've got some kind of situation here, possibly a penalty. And yes, we will have a penalty, a quick penalty here in the third quarter.
Yeah, that didn't take any time at all. Again, Nick, I'm surprised by how lenient these goalies have been in their crease area. I don't know if the league talked to players or made any specific rules different from the rest of the box. But normally, once you're in that crease, that's a no zone. If you got a goalie, leaning on your neck or whatever it may be, it's kind of a normal thing. But we've seen pretty clean action around the creases so far, which I think has kept the game moving.
And Coach Lancey electing here to send out French to take the penalty shot as opposed to taking the 2 minutes. And another huge save by Seneca. He's just been a brick wall there today. And I can't tell you how many saves he's had, but it's got to be close to 14, 15 saves already here going into the early third.
Yeah, I'd wager to say that Seneca has played quite a bit of box lacrosse in his life coming into this season.
All right, so after the failed penalty shot, we do go to a face-off. Herman and Atwood, we've seen them a lot today. And Herman definitely winning these clamps, but Not a lot of help on the wings. Caraway finds Lucy right next to him and nearly turns it over there in the offensive end. Let's see if the Bootleggers get something going here. Caraway with it up top, working the right-hand side.
The All-Americans defense seems to be a little bit hesitant to step out on Caraway at all. He seems to be getting a lot of room kind of to wind up top and kind of command that high position, which is interesting to see after his first half.
And from your lips to God's ears, because he just does it right there. But another great save by Seneca. Caraway again with it up top. Go ahead, Tucker.
Big thing I'm looking for here from the All-Americans defense is I kind of want that top guy to string out a little bit, maybe lay a check on him, just get on his hands a little bit more, let him know he's there. Right now, they're just letting him kind of step in from all angles, which is a tough scene.
Yeah, and they're All-Americans playing a little undisciplined here, or almost too chippy, because they have another penalty early in the third quarter, giving every opportunity here to the Bootleggers to, get back into this one. And just like last time when the Bootleggers went for a penalty shot and weren't successful, the very next penalty, they said, let's go back to the old school way of doing things, and let's just take the 2 minutes.
Yeah, we're seeing that same kind of offensive unit out there. French, Caraway, and Maltz, I think are kind of the three big guys out there right now. And I think Cockerton was out there at one point.
Yep.
This is quite the offensive unit, as we talked about earlier. Once they find their pace, they're really going to be a well-functioning unit.
Yep. Bootleggers keeping the ball hot, lots of motion. Looking for that skip pass, just a little bit too hot there for French. French winds up, fires one, gets deflected along the way. Misses the loose ball, and it's going back for the All-Americans. Nice defensive effort there by the All-Americans. Bootleggers again, just not clicking, not everybody on the same page. It is game one for them, game two for the All-Americans, so you can't be that surprised as the All-Americans try to run out this penalty kill.
Yeah, interesting thing we see coming back on this end too, Nick. The PBLA wants to differentiate itself a little bit from the NLL and other leagues by having their players truly be able to play two-way. You see a lot of these guys are going full shifts up and down. The goal within the PBLA, from my understanding, is to have players who are truly two-sided athletes, which is cool to see. I mean, that's an all-around box player.
Yeah, absolutely. They've done that by changing the substitution pattern. You always have to go in through the offensive end of your bench so that there's no, cherry picking, you don't gain 10, 15 yards by subbing. As the All-Americans come back the other way, and a nice big save there. And that goal's waved off because he's in the crease. And then we've got some extra curriculars going on here behind the play. One player wants nothing of it. And we've seen this all night where the All-Americans are definitely looking for a little extra after the play, a little chippiness, trying to give them everything they got, try to rile them up, get under their skin. And to their point, it's worked so far. But this could be 3 consecutive penalties on the All-Americans.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot of run in the mouth going on. And I don't know on which side. I'm sure both sides are involved in these extracurriculars, as you say. But biggest thing I'm seeing here is there's some growing tension between these two teams. And, both play their own brand and are experienced their lacrosse in their own way. And there's some talking even in the box afterward, which is a pretty unusual scene.
Love to see it. Walking all the way behind the scorekeeper to deliver an extra message. But we've got 2 in the box for the All-Americans, 1 for the Bootleggers.
Yeah, the crowd's getting a great price of admission for tonight's game. I'll tell you that right now. They're really getting the full treat with quite a bit of scrappy play going on in a game that somehow keeps finding itself close back and forth, which you really love to see in an inaugural game for Charlotte.
And it looks like we're going to have a true 4-on-3 situation here for the Bootleggers. And I mean, they haven't capitalized on the first 2 opportunities. This is kind of a must score situation for them. Good movement, wide open up top. Good behind the back feed, and another great save by Seneca. As good as the All-Americans have been on offense, if it wasn't for their goalie Seneca, this game would be pretty much tied at this point.
Yeah, I would agree. Seneca has really been a dominant force. I think, both goalies showing some great experience, but Seneca, I mean, in multiple moments now has really shut down the offense of the Bootleggers.
Yeah, he many times is in the right position before the shot even happens. He can read these shooters like a book.
Mm-hmm.
All Americans turn it over or, kind of give away the possession at the end of the shot clock there. And Bootleggers on offense once again. French up top, kind of commanding this offense, and then taking that shot that we've been talking about all day. We're just really not fans of it.
No, and it looked to be that the French brothers in 11 and 33 were attempting to kind of work with each other on this far side here, and I think just a little bit of lost communication there at the end. And then you see kind of Caraway continues to draw to that far side there, and still not a lot of action stepping out on Caraway, which is interesting.
Yeah, Caraway doing the right thing, drawing a double, moving the ball pretty quickly. He's trying to get physical, leaning in, and we have a great little move here on the crease and still can't finish. That's French still looking for his first goal of the day, and I'd venture to say he's taken 10, 11 shots.
Yeah, I would agree, Nick. He's taken a lot of shots. I would say majority of them actually were pretty solid looks. Seneca's just really kind of read him well the whole game around, it looks to be.
And a quick turnover there by the All-Americans, and we're back on offense. I mean, even though the score says 10-7, as we have another good take and another great save by Seneca, even though the score reads 10-7, the All-Americans really are being dominated in terms of possession, partially because they've had 3 penalties already in the third quarter, but also, they tend to score quickly and turn the ball over quickly when the time comes. Here we go with a great 2-on-1, great trail check there by Timothy.
Yeah, that's Timothy really showing his athleticism and speed, which was a big piece, I know, in picking him for this roster, is that he can really get down floor out of that gate pretty quickly.
Martin almost has a great look, loses the ball on the shot.
Tough scene.
And just like I said, the All-Americans aren't keen on keeping the ball for very long, whether they score or they turn it over. It's in and out of their sticks pretty quickly. Bootleggers getting nice long possessions here, but then just settling for some looks that are less than ideal.
Yeah, it is interesting that the Bootleggers have been the more settled of the two teams when it comes down to possession time, from what I can tell. They're just, they're facing a really tough goalie and not getting the perfect looks in my mind.
Yeah, Seneca's just backstopping that defense to perfection right now, playing a perfect third quarter, even though he's been bombarded with shots. All right, All-Americans settling it down now for a little bit. Love this camera angle that we're treated with, and a great shot there by Jimerson. And that brings it 11-7 All-Americans. We have our first goal of the second half.
Yeah, Conlon wants that one back.
And what a fortuitous change of the camera angle. That half field look is gorgeous and gave us a great view of that, that sweep over the top and then that step down. Lefty rip high to low. Even though the goalie might want it back, it was still a great shot. So props to the shooter there, Jimerson. And Bootleggers with the possession again here. Looking to answer quickly.
Yeah, it's interesting to see here, Nick. The traditional box offense is to kind of play your guy pretty tight and then be able to shrink back into that box formation aggressively. And I don't think I've really seen that typical box defense from either of these teams so far today. They've been kind of strung out and lack to recover at times, leaving the goalie kind of left to defend himself. In the case of the All-Americans, Seneca doesn't seem to have an issue with that at all.
And Seneca sends it deep, and another great look there, this time for Zavitz. Couldn't quite finish. And again, All-Americans playing very quickly, not looking to settle it down if they don't have to. And Seneca has thrown 3 or 4 of those deep shots today. This time the ball goes out of bounds off a deflection on a shot, stays with the Bootleggers. But this is one of those things where, the Bootleggers are dominating time of possession, like truly dominating, and it just doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, and there's a great look by 12. He's able to burn one pass. Looking at for the name, there's Rankin. He makes it 11-8 for the Bootleggers. And this time, one of those outside shots does finally catch Seneca sleeping. Couldn't get his feet moving in time. Puts it low and away to the right side.
Yeah, that was a great overall finish there. One thing we kind of saw in that last set there, I'd like to see more often, is the Bootleggers seem to have a size advantage on the offensive end down there. There's several matchups that I'd like to see kind of more utilized with some down picks that I don't think are happening yet, but we have an official here with a hand up and a call waiting.
And yet another penalty looking like on the All-Americans. Yeah, to your point, there is a size advantage, maybe not in thickness or girth, if you will, but that most certainly in height. Those All-Americans are built thick, whereas those Bootleggers are a bit taller. You know, you look at Caraway, you look at Rankin, a couple guys with a little bit of length to them.
Yeah, that's kind of the beauty so far of this league. What we're seeing is that there's a lot of high level action in all shapes and sizes. I mean, and ages really. You got guys kind of running the gamut here across ages and physicality and really athletic ability. But the one thing that we're seeing across the board here is truly box lacrosse ability, which is what this league sought out to build.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. French up top with it. Wide open on the crease, just too slow to recognize it. Maltz with a shot now goes wide left. A little rusty gate check, completely misses, loses the stick. Detwigs himself and almost gets a slash to the head. And the Bootlegger's not afraid to mix it up here. And what call do we have there, Tucker?
I'm not quite sure what that was. He signaled, there's two calls he signaled there with his hands. I think the logical call was they were getting pretty close to the board, so it could have been a boarding call, but I didn't see enough physicality in my mind there to warrant a boarding call. You know, if it's a really, really flagrant type slash, it could have been a possibility, but it looked as if he was trying to signal boarding, which is interesting.
Yeah, well, there's no penalty, so it could have been withholding or something like that, or holding.
Could have been. It could have got stuck in the wrong place. It was a strange set of calls there towards the midline.
All right. Well, either way, Bootleggers end up with the ball again and more possession time for them. I feel like we've been at this left end pretty much the entire third quarter. Maltz to French. Interesting viewpoint we have here. Maltz again shooting, and Seneca's all over that. Just no real angle on that. Maltz just trying to find a tiny hole and make it fit, but didn't quite work for him.
Yeah, we're seeing an interesting formation, a true house formation on the offensive side for the Bootleggers, with the top player being the cycling player where he can step down and one will fill in. That's normally pretty effective, but they're trying to work those two close sides, which are not being so lucky for the Bootleggers thus far.
All-Americans with it now and put a shot on cage, but that's just, you know, at the end of the shot clock, once again, forcing those outside shots. And I feel like because they're always killing penalties this quarter, the All-Americans are always forced to kind of kill a few seconds and then just take an ill-advised shot. Nice behind the back look there. I think that's Dixon again, Dixon again, but couldn't quite get it. Make that Rankin on that behind the back shot, cleaning up some garbage around the crease. But here we see All-Americans back on the offensive end and finally with an even possession.
So you'll see here what we just saw was that far side player was cycling back down in between there. For those, you know, new to box, that's a pretty typical thing to see, is we want to see guys kind of cycle high to low, normally with a down pick mixed in somewhere there, which was executed well, just didn't work out in the end there. Interesting shot there. Shot selection looks like it's going to be recovered still by the Bootleggers, possibly. Yeah.
All-Americans settle it down now. We haven't seen too much settle offense out of them, but let's see if we can't see that offense that you can break it down for us so eloquently.
See, this right here is a little bit less organized of an offensive possession there.
Yeah, we saw the pass and then the pick, and then it was just a one-man show from that point.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of players getting mixed up in the middle there and kind of losing track of where they are, but that's also props to the Bootleggers defense for kind of holding their guy there as long as they can.
And great defensive effort there by 99. We've seen him do that a couple times where he just pretty much takes the ball away and is able to clear it for the team. And a crease violation there on the Bootleggers. And you are starting to get, maybe not that goalie love that you've been talking about, but his players are protecting him for, they're doing the work for him.
Yeah, that was a tough scene right there. You don't normally want to run it down to the crease when you still have a full clock behind you. I know that he had the advantage in his mind there to kind of take the crease. But if you can pull crease, plant your foot and roll back to somebody coming down, you'll probably have a downhill shot.
Yeah, good look there. Try to fit it in. Ends up getting pushed and just misses wide, but we do have a reset of the shot clock. And there is a penalty coming. We see the goalie pulled. Seneca's out. Get the shot off. No possession yet. Doesn't matter. And we're going to see a All-Americans power play.
As this power play is getting set up, we saw one good thing there for you box viewers out there. That player, he hesitated long enough to shoot around a defender. One thing you would definitely want to see in box particularly is to shoot off of that defender's hip, sometimes even let the stick hit your defender's hip. But that allows you to blind the goalie and really get a shot off with a much higher percentage.
Fair enough. And it looks like, as they have for most of today, the All-Americans are electing to take that penalty shot. Great view of it here from midfield. Smith does one too many moves. Conlon doesn't have to work too hard on that one. Gets the arm up and makes the big save. It remains 11-8 here. Bootleggers trail by 3 in their home opener.
Full goalie love there.
Yeah, got to thank the goalie for bailing them out. And it is a huge momentum swing, right? Because if you do elect to take the penalty shot and you get it, great. You get that goal, you keep the things rolling. But I feel like even more so when you have a regular penalty kill, it's great for the team, but there's this immediacy of getting the penalty shot stopped that swings the momentum immediately back in the other direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Timothy's taking off there.
Oh, we just missed the goal, but it looks like Jimerson fires one home on the near side pipe. And that brings it to 12-8. All-Americans lead here. And like we've seen in so many broadcasts this year across all of sports, we're going to do the rest of the third quarter with sounds of the game. So we're going to silence ourselves and we're going to finish the third quarter just with natural game audio and our lovely PA announcer. Welcome back here for the fourth. It's 12-8. Bootleggers trail by 4 in their home opener, their season opener in the inaugural season of the PBLA. The All-Americans come into this game 1-0. And it shows, they've done very well this game. They definitely look like a team that's been playing, for an extra week, if you will. They have that game under their belts, and they seem to have a little bit more poise, a little bit more fluidity to their game. Their systems look a little tighter. And we talked about it at length. It also might be the fact that they just have a bit more box experience throughout their roster. Bootleggers have some high level experience, but top to bottom, you might say the All-Americans have a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's going to come into play in this league, especially Nick, is that really the locality of players is going to be huge to team development and team status. I believe that the All-Americans do have more players in the same area residing than the Bootleggers do, from what I would understand. The All-Americans don't have a formal home, from my understanding as well. They're kind of the road team this year, playing several locations, but I do believe they have more players on their roster that have played together from the same area, with the exception, obviously, of Patrick Timothy coming in from Florida for the games.
Absolutely. And we don't know in depth. Perhaps Timothy's got some kind of local accommodation set up. Who knows? Those are the stories that we're going to try to find out throughout the season, as we have some tough love being shown at the top of the box between French and it looks like Jimerson.
Good ball movement here so far.
And a great shot and a goal, putting the Bootleggers on the board early on here. I believe that's Rankin. And that makes it 12-9. Bootleggers now down by 3 here early in the fourth.
Was that player number 12, Nick?
Yep, Franken with an F.
Former Georgia Swarm, Richmond player, Wilmington, North Carolina native. I think he is the exclusive North Carolina native on this roster, actually.
Yeah, my apologies. I've said Rankin at least 5 times today, and it's Franken. Slight typo on my part.
He brings in quite a bit of experience and a really cool local flair, which you really like to see on a first year roster.
Yeah, the soft F threw me off there for quite a bit, but we're there. We're there.
At least we know the number and background.
Yep. Oh, and Timothy pays the price, draws the penalty, which he does so often. Pretty much paying, he's earning those game checks just with penalty draws. And the All-Americans are content to stuff it home any way that they can.
Yeah, as this official is discussing here, I think there's one thing we're seeing with Timothy as he takes the ball down to that bottom corner of the crease. He's normally trying to lead off with 1 foot, and when he does so, he kind of leaves himself off balance, and that's when that defender is going to look to initiate contact, allowing that push to come through naturally. I don't know if this call is related to that or not, but what I look at is when a player leaves their foot and there's only 1 left on the crease, that's an open opportunity to kind of get him off balance.
And we've spoken about this before. Timothy has all of the God-given ability, the speed, the quickness, but is a little bit unproven in the box game. Is it almost like the guy that you kind of let shoot threes out in the pickup basketball game? Do you dare him to shoot and see if he can pull it off? Because we haven't seen him score yet. So instead of taking a penalty every time he does shoot, you just dare him to shoot every once in a while?
Yeah, I think the mindset going on with the All-Americans here is that the more times you shoot, the more times you'll score. That's what I seem to be seeing right now. I think Timothy is really, really effective in the transition game, but you're right. He is getting a lot of opportunities and they're letting him get a lot of opportunities here, which again, I think just goes back to more shots, more equates to more goals in their minds, which so far you can't argue with that strategy too much.
No, if I'm the coach of the All-Americans, I'm thinking, yes, please keep fouling Timothy, please. It's a gift. Well, back and forth action here. All-Americans come away with the ball. Still have an extra man. Content to take a little time. It's 12-9. They have the lead. They have the power play. Time's about to expire. The fire one on cage and nice easily saved there.
Looked like that shot was intended for the 5-hole on Conlon, and he really just he stuffed that with planting his stick pretty well.
Yeah, and the pass hits the jumbotron here, a rare sight in indoor lacrosse here. But with the size of this jumbotron, I can't say I'm that surprised that it's going to happen once or twice. This has got to be, if not the best, top 2 venues in the PBLA already. I mean, it is an incredible venue. Go to YouTube, check it out. I believe that there's a tour available for you. It is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, this is by far, in my mind, right up there, one of the tops. I think as we see more arenas, we'll probably have more decisions to be made. But so far, this arena and this overall production has been something to be incredible.
Yep. That, along with this kit, which we're both big fans of.
That's right.
It's got to be, Charlotte set up for success, big crowd. Let's just hope that they can dial some things together as we're getting real scrappy off ball here. Going to be looking out for maybe not a fight, but a couple penalties coming up here pretty soon as the bootleggers are now full strength.
Yeah, very interesting strategy there. We had Timothy was pressed all the way out on that last player. And if it were a player that is not as fast as Timothy, I would say that's ill-advised. But with his speed, he can recover back pretty well.
And a beautiful one-man effort there in the corner by Maltz. Finally breaks the seal, splits 2 guys in the corner, brings it in front of the cage and fires one low or high to low, a bouncer. And it does go, as they do so often. 12-10 now. Bootleggers down 2. And this is the closest the game has been since it was 4-2 halfway through the first.
That's right. That's right. Love that for Dylan getting his goal out there, rocking the signature quarter tights there as he always does. Great finish and great effort.
And we have a hold there. Bootleggers get bailed out a little bit. They've been winning clamps all day with Herman, but not able to win too many of those loose balls.
Oh, getting real aggressive there along the crease.
A couple good cross checks and another penalty on the All-Americans. I mean, this is when you're only up by 2. I mean, you should know by now after the first 5 penalties in this quarter that you might need to slow down and dial it down about 10%, Chief, because you're in the box for a majority of this quarter so far.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Coach Chrysler's take is on this game so far. I mean, physicality in the box is always a good thing, but they're finding themselves in that penalty box just one too many times.
Yeah, 4-goal lead at the end of the third becomes a 2-goal lead and slowly slipping away. And we've talked about it all game. All-Americans seemingly the better, more refined team to this point. However, these are the types of mistakes that can make it, these can be an equalizer for any team when you have this many penalties. So we've got French here electing to take the penalty shot. And Seneca, again, covering up that 5-hole nicely. There was a little bit of room, but he got just enough to keep him out. And it remains 12-10. Seneca, again, at this point, he could let in the next 5 shots, and he's still probably the MVP of this game.
Yeah, the former Tampa twister there twisted one too many times and went 5-hole, and Seneca really wasn't having anything about it.
So it remains 12-10. Midway through the fourth quarter here. Bootleggers, again, should have possession and find a way not to take it. Jimerson with the ball up top. Down to Timothy. And easy one. Every time we've seen it, one move, can't quite finish. A little easy work there for the goalie.
Yeah, Timothy's got quite a great story. Started playing lacrosse, I believe, at 17, and was by the end of college drafted by the Outlaws of the old MLL. So pretty awesome journey to where he is today.
Yeah, you can see him all over social media. Definitely a workout fiend. Is not afraid to work. I'm not surprised that, when I saw the rosters, I wasn't surprised to see him in the league because he's just looking for reps any way you can get him. Loves the sport, picked it up late, and he doesn't have as many miles on him as many of us do.
That's right. He is. I think he's also in what I would consider the Casey Powell camp. He seems to be doing a lot of training with Casey Powell when he gets down to Florida there.
Great defense there by Jimerson.
So interesting note on Seneca, the goalie for the All-American. Seneca is currently listed as a free agent in the NLL. He did spend a year with the New York Riptide. Didn't get any playing time from what I'm seeing on the stat line here, but he was, I believe, a backup goalie with the Riptide in 2020.
Can't say I'm surprised at all. I mean, I feel like so far, I really can't complain about the quality of goalies in this league. That seems to be a position where it's very hard to break into in the NLL. So there's high quality goaltenders across the board. Wooden there with a great take and a great goal. Brings it 13-10 now for the All-Americans. And looking to stretch that lead. We'll see if the Bootleggers have enough left in the tank to keep this one close. They're going to have to answer quickly here before they run out of time.
Yeah, this is a moment for the Bootleggers to kind of turn it on.
And the turnover, an untimely turnover, with the
great
curse,
finish.
the announcer's curse.
Oh, great.
As that one goes just
man.
wide and ends up on the back of the cage with the old, stereotypical mom goal there for Tucker.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate one. I like the shot selection there, kind of the low to low burner, but it went wider than I could see.
Depth perception gets us all at some point. Bootleggers with the ball now. Patient. Keep, the ball almost sits in the stick a little bit too long, and then they settle for those outside shots. And, just with Seneca and his pedigree, it's just not going to work.
It looks like what we're seeing on the offense of the Bootleggers there, Nick, is that it looks like they're getting the ball down to Maltz, who then is feeding Caraway kind of in that top slot.
Beautiful goal there by Smith. We'll see if it stands. Just want to make sure real quick before I get too excited, but that would bring it to 14-10. He glides across the crease unchecked and buries it. Something, a seasoned box viewer, we've seen that goal done 100 different times. And without a defender there's just nothing you can really do unless you're an overzealous goalie.
That was a wonderful use of his frame too. You noticed how he put his shoulder out and his stick out in the opposite direction, which would defend him from any type of defender coming at his back. It still shields the stick and the ball in front to be able to get to the goalie.
14-10 now. A rare clean win there for the All-Americans on the actual draw. Good job by Atwood. Timothy out here looking to snatch ankles. We'll see if they give him another shot to do so. I mean, it's almost when he has the ball, you just need to get out of the way and let him work for a second. It'd be great for them to kind of set up an offense where he's more up top, beats one man, draws a slide, and then dumps it down to one of the posts. I think that could be quite effective given his skill set. Maybe turn him into more of a passer than a shooter.
I agree. I think right now he's just getting trapped too much on the crease and getting trapped low, and he's trying to draw that stick inside and use his back shoulder. But really, I agree. I think his ability and his skill set will eventually develop to be a passer up top and somebody who gets those assists off really quick with his speed.
Yep. I completely agree with you. We'll see how that game develops throughout the season here.
Yeah, looking forward to following his development.
You know, when you think about it, he is one of those guys that this league is built for. Great move, snatching ankles behind the cage, diving shot. Didn't quite get the angle to beat the goalie, but still fun. This is great lacrosse back and forth. We love to see it. Behind the back pass there, good feed. Couldn't get there. Oh my goodness, Seneca with a highlight reel goal. Put that one on for SportsCenter. That was incredible. Resets the shot clock and the Bootleggers retain possession, but Seneca's out here putting on a clinic.
Yeah, Seneca is really showing his expertise between those pipes. It's incredible to see a good box goalie work as he is.
So it's 14-10 as it stands. Bootleggers with the ball, taking all types of shots. And Martin gets the 15th goal for the All-Americans, bringing it to a 5-goal lead. That's 3 unanswered goals. A nice little comfortable lead here as we enter the last few minutes here in the fourth.
Yeah, I don't know who's faster here, Timothy or Martin. Martin, last game and this game, has really shown his speed on the fast break moving down. It's pretty cool to see that.
Absolutely. All right. 15-10 Bootleggers trail. Craig Seneca putting on a clinic throughout the entire game. We're going to go back and we're going to finish this next couple possessions up with sounds of the game, folks. We'll be back to wrap it up, but enjoy the sounds of the game for the rest of the way. And that'll just about do it from us here, folks, at Bojangles Coliseum. It is 15-10 final. The Jim Thorpe All-Americans moved to 2-0 as the Charlotte Bootleggers moved to 0-1 in their first game of the year, first game ever. I'm Nick Zeroya. That's Tucker LaBelle. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.
Each day, millions of athletes compete in their sport. However, most of their greatest achievements, their highlights, go unnoticed and unacknowledged. The 5-Star app exists to give those athletes an opportunity to be seen and celebrated by their peers, competitors, and fans in a safe social environment. Download the app. Follow the best up-and-coming athletes in the world. Whether you're an athlete or a fan, this app is for you. You can find us in Apple's app and Google's Play stores.